Hi, this is the University Parks on Sunday afternoon, and it is the most parched that I have ever seen it. I'm going to take a quick walk round to show you. That bit of grass is exceptionally green, and I suspect that it's been specially watered. I think it's used as a croquet pitch. It's the sort of scene where you expect to see a skull with long horns lying on the grass like you did in the old comics when they were depicting Arizona. and this isn't real grass. I'll walk over to the river and see how the ground compares there and then end. And I've done a few videos in my weather series already. Most of them were last autumn about floods. Floods around Aristotle Lane, for example. And there was one about fog, very thick fog, and floods too, so that as you walked down the Thames path from Folly Bridge, it just seemed to dissolve into nothingness in the fog. And if you had continued down, I think there were safety notices telling you not to go any further, and it eventually went underwater anyway, as did large parts of Christchurch Meadow. So there was extreme autumn and extreme winter weather, but I think this is the first video I've done that explicitly shows extreme summer weather. Or the effects of extreme summer weather. There's a marquee there with something going on. Probably a little play put on by one of the summer schools. Oh no, a bit bigger than I thought. That's about the Swift Tower, so that doesn't tell me anything about this. Twelfth night, Oxford University Parks, 15th to the 26th of July. So I think they're rehearsing for It looks as though they're doing loosening up exercises at the moment for their singing. So Oxford is very big on Shakespeare, as you might expect. With the lovely college grounds, most colleges are capable of putting on a summer play, provided that the weather obliges. And there are also the parks and Christchurch Meadow and one or two other places as venues. And thinking about it, I don't know. A lot of the colleges will put on the plays during term for obvious reasons. So I'm not quite sure who the people here are, because there won't be many students to be an audience. But Shakespeare plays do continue to run through the summer. And you can see that if you look at the posters that are put up along the side of Exeter and in South Parks Road and along St Giles churchyard and various other places. I think they're all run by a group called The Scene, who advertise by sticking posters onto long wooden boards and propping them up against various prominent walls. Not trying to create a circle. So let's just have a look at that and see who's actually organising it. William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Why, this is very midsummer madness. Oxford University Parks, Picked Mead, 15th to the 26th of July, 7 p.m. Saturday matinee, concessions and tickets, and the line at the bottom is for Oxford Theatre Guild, which says it's a registered charity. Good. So that's another facet of Oxford life that I haven't shown very much in these videos, but of course if I were to show parts of a play that was actually being held at the moment, I'd have to pay to go in and people either side wouldn't like me very much for waving a phone holder all over the place. I was keeping a little way away from them. Drama groups tend not to like people recording them while the performance is actually on, and I'm not sure how far they would extend that to somebody recording a rehearsal, but I prefer not to have to argue it. So let's go and look at the river. There's the duck pond. And you can see that the ground is rather greener. The grass is rather greener, as they say, around it than it has been. And likewise along the river. As I said in my video about how to stay cool in the parks 2 or 3 Fridays ago, this is probably the coolest and the breeziest spot, and is very refreshing when the temperature's up to 38 or so. People taking a rest from the hard labour of punting. And there's no law that says that you can only punt up to the riverbank on this side. Those people probably haven't been punting because I don't see a punt, but you can punt up there and moor your punt and sit on the path. I wonder whether the ducks think that a punt is just an exceptionally large duck, or whether they conceive of it as something entirely different. This is a nice little path for all the dryness of the grass. That's one of those crop circles. And this is a fairly recent change to the parks. It's an American football ground. I hope I'm right, because I don't know anything about American football, and if I'm wrong, I'll get legions of Americans shouting at me in the comments. But that's what it says on the side of the pitch. And it's as parched as everywhere else. Evidently you don't water American football grounds. There you are, all you Americans. They're doing something with the ball, and I really don't know the game well enough to tell you what. Nor do I understand the function of those bright green things. That's the new psychology building, unravelling the mysteries of life and consciousness and the mind. I suppose you can't be conscious without a mind. Well, actually, that's not true, because there are some people who believe in a sort of, I think you'd call it panpsychism, that even the simplest entity of matter might have some form of residual consciousness. You sort of build it in from the beginning in your models so that you don't have to worry about how it comes to be in complicated forms of life like us. RC Millsap pitch for American football at the University of Oxford. So that's where we are. And I'm at the entrance to the parks that is at the end of South Parks Road near Linacre College and near where the bike path goes into the parks. And I'll end my little tour of an extremely parched university parks here. See you next time.